2010 Mazda 3 with a 2.0 liter 4-cylinder. We're going to replace the spark plugs. First you want to do is go ahead and lift up your engine cover. Got some fasteners in it, like 4 of them. Lift them up in the corners, pull it up, see, down there and there. Put some lube on these when you go together, help them out. Next thing you need to do is go ahead and blow the top of the valve cover off, blow all the dirt out of there. Then you need to do is remove these black little things that go on for your valve cover to help hold it down. And they just got a little, like a hex on them on top. I just used a pair of pliers, got them off. And then I removed all my coil bolts. They are an 8mm. And the ones that had the little plastic on them, I marked it. Just to save me some time. Then you need to go ahead and squeeze your little connectors to remove them off your coils. So you squeeze these together and it raises that little tab up. Sometimes when they get old and hot, they'll make these real brittle and they'll break the little tab, and then you have to use a little screwdriver to reach in there and pick up the tab. Okay. Next you need to do is go ahead and remove the coils off the spark plugs. Sometimes you'll have to twist them back and forth to pull them up. And sometimes the boots have oil on them. That means the valve cover is leaking and you have to replace it because it leaks down the side here and goes inside the spark plug tubes. See how that is? It's all wet. So I need to go ahead and replace the valve cover also. And this car's got 100,000 miles on it. I'm going to go ahead and replace the boots, coil boots also. So next you need to do is remove your spark plugs. And be careful to look inside the spark plug tubes to see how much oil is in there. You don't want to put too much oil. When you remove your spark plug, that oil goes inside the cylinder. You don't want to get too much of it in there. So you're better off blowing the tubes out with some air with a blowgun. Put a rag over the top to help keep the oil from hitting you in the face or the dirt. Okay. So go ahead and remove the spark plugs. Those are 5/8. I already removed mine, and this is what mine look like. So I'm going to replace the valve cover also. So we're going to replace the valve cover also, so you need to go ahead and unplug the sensor on top. I think this is the solenoid. Replace that. Lift up all these harnesses off the little studs for the valve covers. And remove that one. You got another one right here. And you got a little 10 there, and you got a vacuum line there. I think there's another 10 over here somewhere too. So we'll go ahead and remove all the fasteners. Make sure you pull your dipstick out also, because you don't want to break it off. All right, undid all my fasteners. These things, got a pair of pliers on them. Twist them back and forth and pull them up, get them off. Unplug the cam solenoid, unplug the cam sensor, undid your breather tube from the air intake tube, that's loose. Undo all your connectors, and then this one you twist it and pull it up, a pair of pliers, it just clips in these 2 holes. I still got a 10mm back there in this little bracket, and then I can go around and remove all my 8s. Okay, and then you can pry up your valve cover. All right, I took out all my bolts from my valve cover. I marked them. Ones that had the studs on the bolts. And how I got this one off of there was I loosened up the little bolt down there, still on top of it. I didn't take it out, I just loosened it so it can be mobile, okay? I got myself a little one of these little screwdrivers bent like that. Over here on the front, and lifted it up. Got it all the way loose, all the way around. So now I can just slide it up off of that seal. Okay, and here it is. Just like that. Okay. And here's the seals that leak into the spark plug tubes. Here's the valve cover seal. Go ahead and get yourself a pick and pick out the gaskets, the seals, and then go ahead and push the new ones in. All right, got the new valve covers, gaskets on there. We're all good. Use the pick. And for that solenoid, just put some grease around it and that'll be good. All right. So next you need to do is go ahead and wipe off the cylinder head where the gasket sits. And then we'll be ready to install our valve cover. All right, you got your head cleaned. You notice right here, it's a little glob of silicone, and also right here is a little glob of silicone. When you clean it up, make sure those pieces don't fall down in there. You don't want to have it to cause any problems in the future. So pick them out the best you can. And then when you're going back together, after you got it all cleaned up, put a little dab of silicone on there. That's where the front cover and the head join together, so they put a little sealer there. All right, so I'll put my little dab on there, and then I'll drop my valve cover on there, and I'll put some grease on here as well. For that solenoid, valve cover's ready. Put a little bit of grease in there for that solenoid. Got a little bit of sealer on there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and drop it straight down on it. Okay, got the cover on. Got your bolts started, snug them all up, start from the inside out, okay? And then the one to torque is 100 inch-pounds. What I did was I went around gradually getting tighter and tighter, and I used my hand inside of a 1/4 inch ratchet like that, and that's how I tighten them. You can't get them real tight by doing this. You only allow you to go so tight because your wrist is only so strong, okay? So when in doubt, you can use torque wrench, inch-pound torque wrench, and you can torque it to 100 inch-pounds. All right, I got them all torqued. So the next I'm gonna go ahead and do is put all my fasteners back in my little bracket with the nut back on there. And this on there, plug in my connectors, and then I'll go ahead and put my spark plugs in. All right, make sure you put your vacuum line over the top of your wire harness. All right, I unplugged mine also right here. Also, that way allowing it to go way over there, out of the way. Valve cover's all set. Everything's plugged in. Make sure you plug that one back in case you forgot. Got my vacuum line in. So we're all set to go. Now next is spark plugs. Get your spark plugs out. Inspect the gap. Make sure it's not bent. These are pre-gapped. Shouldn't have to gap them. Just make sure they're not smashed. Then also go ahead and rub your fingers over the porcelain because they got dirty fingers, and then you can inspect it to see if you see any cracks, because if they have any hairline cracks, the dirt will show up from your fingers. Okay, and then on the back side right here, put just a little bit of anti-seize. I always put it on the back side. Okay, and then you can get these started by hand, and then run them down with your ratchet, and then tighten them up to 18 foot-pounds. What you can do before you put your spark plugs in is go inside the vehicle and crank it over to allow it to pump that oil that fell down in there. If there's too much oil in there, it'll pump it out because you don't want too much oil in there, and then when you put your spark plugs in, it will hydro lock. So you don't want to do that. So you want to crank it over a little bit to get that excess oil out of the cylinder. Next, you need to prep your coils. Pull off your old boots off the coils, twist and pull. And then get your new boots. Put a little bit of Seal Glide on top that pushes into the coil. And inside where the spark plug goes, you want to rub some dielectric grease in there also. I'm going to put about that much in there and rub it around inside there. Okay? Then once you got all those done, then you can go ahead and put your springs inside the boots. Make sure they pushed all the way down to like that. Or you can actually twist them into the ends. I prefer twisting them into the ends. That way you know it's making contact. The spring end does not stay pushed in, so just put them together and twist it together and they'll snap in place. All right, coils are all together. Next, what you want to do is rub a little bit of Seal Glide or dielectric grease around the base of the boot where it touches the valve cover. And that will help prevent dirt and water from getting down inside there. Next, you can go ahead and install them into the cylinder head, push them down, twist them a little bit, make sure they snap into place, and you can go ahead and start your coil retainer bolts. All right, your coils are installed. Go ahead and put your little bolt studs on there and push the coils down because they want to pop back up because of the springs. Push them down and then snug up your bolts. If you want to torque them, you can torque them to 60 inch-pounds, which isn't much. All you need to do is just retaining the coils down in there. All right, so next you want to do is go ahead and put your little retainers on there for your cover. Snug them up. And then next we can go ahead and put our cover on. All right, the cover is on. Go ahead and put your dipstick back in. And that will complete the job. And just go ahead and start it and see how it runs. Hopefully we don't have to take our cover back off. So it's best to start it before you put the cover on, but I kind of forgot. So anyway, hopefully I helped you out this video. And hopefully you can help me out by subscribing to me. And I appreciate it. And good luck.